Welcome to Motorsport Coaching, the podcast for racers with racers. Miss Motivate can help get you to the next level. Every episode, she talks to the best racers of today and those that can get you there. She'll help you get better.
Racing news.
At fitness, nutrition, sports psychology, sponsorship, social media, public relations, and media training. Connect with Miss Motivate at motivatetraining.com.au. That's MOTIV8 training.com.au. And now, to help get you to the next level, Miss Motivate herself, Belinda Risley.
Hello, crew, and welcome to episode 147. I can't believe we're nearing episode 150. I'm so excited. Come episode 150, we're going to have a new brand, a new sponsor, a new kind of a layout. I'm pretty sure I'll keep saying the intro, but definitely the American intro is going, and there'll be a lot of changes happening, which I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode with 21 superstar marketing media assistant Marley Chapman, where she talks about all the sacrifices and the opportunities that she's had over the last 2 years getting into motorsport. Today's episode is with driver coach Tommy Schröter, all the way from Denmark. Tommy has recently developed a driver coaching program called Baseline for drivers that can be utilized anywhere within the world. And we're going to go in more details about how you can use that driver training program to improve your performance. He's a professional sports coach with more than 25 years experience, both as a driver as well as a coach. He loves working with athletes as well as with parents. So true to my heart. We get on really well. Here's Tommy's story about how he got started in motorsport, the fact that he's a twin and the difference in their racing ability, how he knows John Target, which is a great friend of the show, and the importance of having mindset to be successful in racing. Tommy also will be coming up in the coming month to be a guest speaker inside our toolkit. So if you haven't already checked out our toolkit, guys, the link will be in today's show notes, so make sure you go through and check it out. Otherwise, race to motivatetraining.com.au/toolkit. And basically the toolkit, we cover an extensive range of topics from sponsorship, fitness, nutrition, social media, branding, PR, media training, and mindset. So it's an all-in-one solution to support athletes' growth and development. The site is updated weekly with new content and features, and every month we actually do 4 live training sessions, and we go through mindset. We do a live Q&A to answer any of your questions you've got, maybe about sponsorship or fitness or nutrition. Any of those topics that we cover, we answer in that live Q&A. Generally have a masterclass or a challenge, and we also offer driver training. So if you're new to motorsports or in the first couple of years and looking to progress your career, please race over and check out the toolkit. Well, let's get started with today's show and hear from Tommy. Hello, Tommy, and welcome to the Motorsport Coaching Podcast.
Thank you a lot.
So, as people can hear, you do have an accent, Tommy. Where are you coming live to us from today?
I'm coming from Denmark, so I think that's why the accent is so.
Oh, as I was just saying off air, I love Denmark, and a useless fact is that my dad used to be the importer of Deno carts, so from Denmark. So we used to have lots in Norway, and all of those kind of peeps come over to Australia and visit us, like when I was younger and growing up. So I kind of feel a little bit warm and fuzzy right now having this interview with you. So thanks again for joining us. Tell us a little bit about you and what do you do?
Yeah, I'm a former professional racing driver and also go-kart. I raced, I think I had 1 or 2 races for Dino back in the old days. And then I'm, been a professional and driving a lot of races, mostly in Denmark and a little in Europe. And I would say for the last 15 years, I've been working as a driver coach and also as a sports psychologist consultant. So I'm working with other sports also, football, handball, swimming, whatever. So yeah, I've been looking a lot into other sports discipline to see how are they doing and how can they evaluate and how can they be even better and how can we use that knowledge into motorsport. And I'm trying to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, there'd definitely be a lot of crossover when it comes to mindset. So we'll come back a little bit into mindset a little bit later on. But what got you initially started with your motorsports?
Oh, it started, I would say, when I was born. My dad also, as your dad, was in motorsport. So my dad was a racing driver in Denmark. And I think when I was about 10 years, I have a twin brother. We was on holiday, and we went to a rental kart track and tried that. And we were just say, hey, we want to have a go-kart. But yeah, and then we tried once, and I was slow, really, really slow. My dad, he was, oh, you can't drive that slow. But yeah, we did. And as a 12-year-old, I got my own go-kart and started from there.
So as you said, you're a twin. Did your brother get one as well?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And I'm often saying we when I'm talking about it, because we were driving a lot together. And he was in the beginning faster than me. He had easier for learning, and I had to struggle a little more. But yeah, and I think that's also one of my main. I think that's a strength for me now, because I know more about learning and to work harder to learn new stuff. So he was also a driver, yeah.
And are you saying that he was a better driver than you? Like, is this like an argument over Christmas dinners?
Yes, and he was the firstborn of us, and I'm normally joking that said it was the first and only that he got the first time. So after that, I was the fastest. But yeah, but on raw pace, he was fastest. But I think I was working harder, and that's why I think I was the only one getting professional. He didn't. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Fantastic. And talk us a little bit about your journey. So you're saying you got your karts when you were 12. What did you race? You started off with karts. Did you go into other categories?
Yeah, I went to single seaters, Formula 4 1600 and Formula 4 2000, Formula Renault, and then jump over to saloon cars and GT cars and so on. And I have my own racing team, and also with historic cars, a lot of Porsche, I would say. So yeah, so I've been the whole way around. I'm trying almost everything with racing. So yeah.
Yeah. And what do you prefer, open wheelers or the tin tops?
Open wheelers.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Yes. I would say go-kart. I prefer go-kart because that's pure racing. So
yeah. I love karting too, as I said, but I'm a little bit biased. But I guess from a physical and a mental performance, is there a difference between the open wheelers and the tin tops that you found as an athlete?
I would say when I got into a tin top, the saloon car, I think it was going slow because I was coming from the single seaters, so it was much easier. It was much more slow. You could see, hey, the grass is green there, and you have the time to look around in the corners and see much more. So I would say that's the big difference. And then I got into the sports cars, to Porsche and Ferrari and so on, and then I would say that was much faster, and then you couldn't. Yeah, then you need to be more aware.
And you're saying that you've been a driver coach for the last 15 years. So tell us, what made you want to get into driver coaching?
I was educated first as a mechanic and afterward as a driving teacher. Normal people having a driving license, and after that, I jumped in and got that professional racing driver. And also you work a lot with sponsors and so on, and that was, and I couldn't get the money for that, and I said, okay, I stopped racing, and when I said I will stop racing, all the doors opened for me.
Funny that, isn't it?
Yeah, then there was a big sponsor, and then I said, hey, we want to have a new class series with that the drivers were not racing drivers, but famous people outside racing, and they want to learn them to drive a racing car. So suddenly I was just starting from there as a driver coach. And then I also tried back in 2011 to start the Ginetta Junior Cup in Denmark. And we had a great test day and everything, but the financial in Denmark was really hard. So it didn't work. So there was only one test day, and that was it. But after that, the people who worked together with me said, hey, you need to work much more with the young people.
great.
Yeah, and then I said, okay, then I'll do that. and then I start educating me under the Federation of Sport in Denmark. We have something named Team Denmark, and that's the highest level of sport education, and they're working with Olympic athletes and so on. And I was educated under them as an elite coach, and especially on the mental side. And that's how it started. Yeah.
That's right. And like they say, motorsport, it's all about networking, isn't it?
Yes, it is, for sure.
I am just going to go back a little bit about sponsorship, because I did see that you did that before, and I guess like you don't know what it's like in Australia, but is it as difficult over there in Denmark to seek sponsorship as well? Like, is motorsport a massive sport over there? Everybody knows about it. I guess maybe in the scheme of like motorsports of sports, like where does it kind of fit in the national, hierarchy of sports? Like, is it hockey, it's soccer, and then motorsports, or?
I would say I think it's difficult here in Denmark than in Australia, and for sure in Denmark the national sport is football. So and they had a lot of television and so on. So that's the easy part. And when drivers come to me and and they say, I want to be a professional racing driver, I want to race all the time, then my advice is to say, okay, get a good education, get a good job, earn a lot of money, and then you can go out and be a racing driver. I think that's the easiest part. But luckily, not everybody are listening to me because they want it so much. So they are starting with sponsorship, and I'll say when they're starting with sponsorship, they need to start as early as possible, 10 years, 12 years, and so on, and go out and because when they're coming a kid to you as 10 years and say, hey, I'm driving go-kart, I just need a little more money because my dad can't afford it. Then the company will say, okay, you're a nice guy and so on, and you have the courage. You have the courage to come in and talk with me. So they will start it from there. And if you start as a 25-year-old, then it's much harder, I'd say. So you can start in the early days, and when you get 20 or something, then you have a good network, and then you are used to it, and then the big money can come. Yeah.
That's right. I think that's the hardest thing, like over here, that once the children kind of get to like 17 and 18, mum and dad are like, okay, I've been funding this for 10 years. You're old enough to get a good job. Go out, get a job. And now you can pay for racing for yourself. And they're like, well, hang on, I didn't know it cost that much money. Or I don't want to go to work now and spend my hard-earned money racing. And so we do lose a lot to the work life. And
yes, exactly. And also the parents, I think they do too much for the children because they're going out to find the money. And they don't have to do that. It has to be the kids.
I know, and that's why we offer online education for everybody and do like free tips all the time and strategies. And I think my biggest frustration is that athletes don't understand how much time they actually have to invest within sponsorship. I'm again constantly saying you need to be doing it every single week. Like I have a free Facebook group called Motorsport Sponsorship, and every week we're doing tips and lives and questions and answers and everything, like as a support group. But at the end of the day, I'm like, you have to put in the time, and a lot of people don't have time to do it. But it's like, well, it depends on how much you want to go racing. So
exactly, if they want to, they will find the time. I think that's the way it is. So yeah.
And so, Tommy, over your many years of experience as a race car driver as well as a race coach, what's been the most challenging things that you've come up against, I guess, as a driver coach? I think we just mentioned about people committing to bettering themselves, like with learning about sponsorship and just learning in general. Is there anything that's kind of really stood out for you?
So you think as a driver or for me as a driver coach? What is
both, yeah.
Okay, yes. I would say for me as a driver coach, the most difficult was I'm the first one in Denmark doing it. So I've been doing it for almost 15 years. So I started something new, and with new things, people just need to look at, hey, what is this? So they're not just jumping into it. And then also, I think also a lot of drivers who go out racing, good racing drivers, also going out and say, okay, I can be a driver coach. but they don't know how to coach. They just say go faster into this corner or brake later, but they don't know the psychology behind how to educate people, how can they learn more from you than just say look at me and do this. Also, this is one of this is a big challenge, I would say. It still is.
So what are some of the core fundamentals of being a great driver coach, without giving away all your little secrets?
Hey, this is one of the big thing is to come with all your secrets. Don't be afraid of telling somebody what you know, because the more you can tell them, the more they have the ability to learn from you, because the first time you say it, it's not sure that they get it. So I will say the more open I can be, the better it will be for me and for sure for the drivers.
And for someone who's new to the sport and probably just starting out, what exactly is a driver coach, and what are the benefits of engaging with a driver coach?
The benefits, it's because a lot, especially here in Denmark, I would say a lot of people are saying just go out and do some laps. But if I like your what I just saw your face there. I like that. So because I would say that's it's not a good advice. Just go out and do laps, because you are going out and do all the wrong things because you don't know how to drive, and then you will get a lot of failure in your driving. So the driver coach that you hook up with will learn you the right thing, the right techniques, how to brake, how to release the brake, and how to work with the rotation of the car, and everything, all the small details that you don't have any clue to know about when you're new into this. You just, as a new driver, you just think, okay, I need to go out, just put the throttle to the floor, and then I'll go fast. No, but new people think it's the way.
And do you do driver coaching from karting or grassroots, or what kind of do you coach at right now with your business?
All drivers. I have the youngest this year is an 8-year-old go-kart driver, and 2 days ago I was together with a 58 years in a TCR car. So and this weekend also with a 18 years old, he's driving the Spanish, not the European F3 series.
Yeah.
So so it's everybody, I will say. Yeah.
So what part, obviously we know that motorsports is expensive to get started. So at what point should people engage within a driver coach, do you think? Is that something like within the first 6 months, or do you think they should do 12 months of doing laps and getting a feel for the vehicle? Obviously, once they're starting out, they're not necessarily going to go straight to TCR or straight to Spanish F3. So there is a bit of a roadmap to get to those events. What's your recommendations around when should they engage with a driver coach?
When you begin, when you have the thought that I want to be a racing driver, I want to be a track day driver, then go with a coach.
Wow, Tommy, you must be flat out. How many competitors do you have in Denmark?
Not much. No, not many. No, but I was 2 weeks ago. I was on a racetrack with a 21-year-old. He needed to. He have a Porsche Cayman RS, just a track day car, because he will go for charity with young people, and when you go in this event, you need to be a good driver, so it's not dangerous to drive with you. And then I went a day with him, and he learned a lot, and he said it was much easier to drive the car after that, and it was easier but also faster. So,
because I guess you're educating them around exactly what to do, as opposed to, like you're saying, for them to think what they're meant to be doing.
Exactly. Yeah. And he didn't thought that it was. He just, hey, I need to just go full attack and use the throttle, because he thought that the throttle was the one that made him fast, but it wasn't. It was the brake.
Yeah, and there's obviously other factors as well. So there are driving techniques, but what else do you cover in a driving coaching session?
It depends on the drivers, but of course, it's a new one. It's a lot about driving technique, and if they know more about that, I will say it's more about the mental side. It's more about their feelings, about their thoughts, and how mindfulness. I'm working a lot with mindfulness also. So yeah, and it's a lot into you as a driver. What are you thinking about yourself, and what are you thinking about this the next event that you're going to, the next race? Do you have something that blocks you? It could just be a little thought. So talking about that and find out what holds you back.
And is that like kind of information context that you got from the Denmark AO, like Olympic training, or is that something that you found yourself as an athlete and then doing your own personal development over the last 20 odd years to know how important mindset in psychology is within race performance?
It's a combination. It's a combination. I got the tools from the education, and then also a lot of my old experience with a lot of drivers. Then I've learned a lot from the drivers and how to react and how to come with the right questions. Yeah, and so on. So I'd say it have to be it's experience. But if you don't have the right tools, as before, if you just go out and do some laps and don't know what to do, then it's not good enough. So I would say you need to have a good education. And what I see here in Denmark and in Europe, I would say a lot of driver coaches don't have this education. Mm-hmm. They're fast drivers, but they need to educate themselves a little more, from my point of view.
And of course, you need to have that adaptability to adapt to each and everyone's personalities, and being able to educate or communicate with them in different skill sets and techniques and different ways for them to be able to understand it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that you work with the young ones. Do you also work with the parents as well?
Yes, I do. I have done a lot of workshop for parents. So, and also when I have, especially young drivers, they're coming with a problem. I said to the parents, please be with them. Sit here and listen to when we are talking. Then they can listen what we are talking about, and then they can help them more. And often the parents will say, okay, it is my fault because I was pushing him too hard, or saying, why yesterday you could do this and today you can't do it, why, and so on. So they don't have the understanding of the learning process. They just want to see the goals because they have invested a lot of time and a lot of money in it, and then they want to see the results.
Yes. Yeah. Or they want the child to live out their racing dreams.
Yeah, some of them, yeah, because they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't. On that note, Tommy, do you have any kids that are now racing?
Yeah, I have 3 kids. The oldest, he is a track day instructor and also instructing is in e-sport.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yes, and the other guy, he's 18. He's driving endurance racing together with his good friend, and they are paying it on their own. Then I'm not. I help them. I drove the car to the track, but I'm not paying for anything. They are working on it on their own. So
fantastic.
And he's also a mechanic. So yeah. I have, of course, everybody spend a little of money in their kids. We need to do that, but I would say it's nothing compared to what other parents have done. I would say really it's nothing. And the oldest, when he is in a race car, he got paid for it, and he's living for it right now. And the other one is still working on it, but on his own, and he's going out in the local also to get some sponsors and so on, because people can see, you're doing it. You and your friends doing this for your own. You want to do it for yourself and not because of your dad. And then they say, okay, we want to help you. And they got a lot of credit for that.
Fantastic. And it's great that he's got like another skill set, like being a mechanic. I think it's fantastic when the drivers have an understanding of how the vehicle actually works that they're trying to operate as well. And I think that's like a number one thing that sometimes drivers, athletes don't consider, is like that it's really important to have a clear understanding of how does the vehicle work, especially if they're racing their different categories, because obviously they all operate very differently. And so, one of the best ways to do that is actually being hands-on and being mechanical or engineering and stuff like that.
Yeah, me too, especially when for endurance racing and so on, if something is wrong with the car, they can come in and tell much more about it. But but some people also think that a driver can think too much about the car and not going out and being fast. But Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it's skills that you just need to learn, so you can do it. Yeah.
And you also work with some race teams as well. Tell us about what kind of training or workshops that you offer for the race teams.
For the race team, it's this you can say teamwork, but what is teamwork?
Yeah.
It's a lot about communication, and also a lot about saying, okay, which role do you have? The team leader, who do you communicate to, and the first mechanic, how do you work, and how do you get the information from the drivers or from the team boss, and how do you get the information to your mechanics and so on. So everybody know what to do, but also know what the others are doing.
Yes.
So and getting this this positivity also around the drivers, around the mechanics, so they work together. And also if they have some problem, if they can't be good friends all the time because it's pretty stressful sometimes. But
Yeah.
after that, getting a good talk about, okay, what was good, what was bad, how can we improve? So they get I'll say all the tire man and whatever they are, they get the ownership of their own, that they are there because they are needed to be there, that the drivers, the team boss, whatever, appreciate them to be there instead of just, hey, go out, do your work.
Yeah, that's right. When I work with any of the teams, I get them to actually do the love language, Tommy. Have you the 5 love languages?
No, I didn't understand that.
Oh, when I work with the race teams, one of the first exercises that we do is do the 5 love languages. Have you done that assessment?
Okay.
On communication. I'll send you the link about it. And it's
please.
how you like to communicate with. They're like, oh my God, they're not lovers. And I was like, this is work, guys. And girls, you spend more time here than what you do at home. So communication is key. And I'm like, so you can take this test home and do it with your partner, but it's important to understand how everybody, and it's more around like whether you like to acknowledge people, or you prefer to give gifts, or if you prefer to like have words of affirmation, or those kind of just there's 5 of them that I'll send through, and you can.
That's interesting to use this kind of
an assessment. Yeah,
it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'll send that through. So obviously you've been doing it for a very long time. You're very passionate about helping grassroots competitors, not only in Denmark, all over the world. And you've currently come up with a new business, an online software program. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, and this is a baseline driver training program. And this is where we're going much more into, we separate your skills in this. So right now, the only thing you can do in this software program is training your brake, how to adapt to your brake, releasing your throttle, and how you adapt to the brake. And later on we'll do much more, but we need to start and then build on. So it is a software program to learn to brake, and also you can see how fast you're releasing your throttle. You can see how fast you are hitting your braking peak and how you release your brake. So you can go in and learn much more about yourself. And in this, on the when you're into the program, we also have some videos with brain training. So you're doing your braking technique, but you're doing other stuff with your brain. So in that way you improve even more as a driver, and you can much more in stress situation. You know how to brake. You know your techniques because they're in the subconscious. You're just you're wasted your baseline as a driver.
Hence the name.
Exactly. That's why. And the reason why the reason that I got this idea was, I think 12 years ago, I started with simulator training, and I was one of the first in Denmark to even have a simulator, and I was the first to do coaching in the simulator. And a lot of drivers came because they want to learn the tracks that they were going to. And I think that's a lot of drivers use simulators because they want to learn the tracks, but that's you can learn.
They're just doing laps.
Exactly, and you can learn so much more in a simulator than just learn the track, and that's what I'm doing. But then I think 3-4 years ago, people stopped coming to me because they have their own simulator, and I think, okay, but I could see that the drivers who came to me training in my simulator went back to their own simulator and then come to me again. They were improving even more because I could pinpoint where they need to, which skills they need to practice on, and they could go home and do it even more, and then come back, and we could have this evaluation. Okay, what did you do good, and what was difficult for you, and where do you need to improve, and then they went back again. So 3 years ago, I got this idea. Hey, I need to, if the clients are not coming to me, then I need to come to the client. So I start working on this software program, but I'm not a software developer, so I needed to find that. So I have people around me doing this, and I would say it have been a long, difficult trip to make this program, because it's pretty hard to do that. But now, luckily, I would say for 3 months ago, I got some really good guys that have the time to it, and also they have the knowledge to do this. So now we are improving on it. So, but yeah, spend a lot of time, spend a lot of money on it. So yeah.
And is it suitable for all race categories, or is it specific for one? Is it 4 wheels as well as 2 wheels, or?
Right now it is 4-wheel. It's a software. It's a standalone software program that you download to your simulator. So it's not it's not iRacing. It's not Assetto Corsa. It is baseline.
Yeah.
And then you are training your own skills, and then you can jump into iRacing or whatever. Some of the drivers who use it, they're using it for about 10 minutes or half an hour. Warming up, they're warming up their muscles, they're warming up their brain, and then they jump into iRacing and drive. So it's what it is.
And so is it like a program like that, over 8 weeks you go from here to there, or is it like a one-time investment that once they purchase it, then it's continued to upgrade, or is it a membership based, or how does the actual program work?
It's a membership. You can have it for a month, or you can have it for half a year or for a year. So it's a membership, and
they can try it out to see if they like it and get
yes,
a feel.
Yes, exactly. We have a 7 days free trial period. So yeah.
Awesome.
And right now we have one track with 5 brake zones. So we have 5 different brake zones. I have also now in my edition, I got the new edition yesterday, but it's not out yet. But then I have a new track there with 8 brake zones. And also we're working on having, when you're finished braking, you need to adapt to the throttle and then go out of the corner with the throttle. And that is also one of the things that will come pretty soon. And we are working on an editor program, so you can take your data from your own race car or from your driver codes and put it into the baseline, and then you can practice the brake races from another driver.
Awesome.
So,
I love it. And of course, the link to baseline, all Tommy's information will be in today's show notes, so you can race down and check out some more information. But verbally, what is the link to go and have a look, or the website?
Yeah, it's baselinedrivertraining.com. So go in there and look. And also we have in the bottom of the site, we have a subscription, so you can get the newsletter from us where I'm talking about driving technique, but also the mental part. So you can dive into both things. So you can get this information also.
Fantastic. And people can learn a little bit more about you. We've had just a bit of a scrape over your career and content to date today. So I do thank you for your time. Before we wrap this up, Tommy, is there anything else you'd like to share with us? There's been so many great points today, but just before we go.
It could be a lot, but yeah. I will say the most important thing as a driver or as a parent or as a coach or mechanic, whatever, is awareness. Be aware of yourself, but also be aware of the people that you're coaching, that you're working together with. The more you are aware, the more you can navigate. So and then you can improve better. So I would say awareness.
Wonderful. Again, Tommy, thank you so much for all of that today. Again, all of Tommy's information will be in the show notes. Please make sure you rush out and check out his program. Thanks again, Tommy. Have a great week.
Thank you. You too. And thank you for letting me come here.
No worries. See ya.
See you. Bye.
Get ready for the race.
Do you feel one step closer to being the next superstar behind the wheel? MotivateTraining.com.au for more. MOTIV, 8, training.com.au.
The green flag.
Every episode gets you one step closer to the checkered flag. The Motorsport Coaching Podcast, getting you to the checkered flag faster.